Alright, so a couple days ago we found out about everything that will be coming with the mid-season patch. The reception has been really good, as we all expected, since honestly, any changes coming to For Honor will be accepted as long as it's not a nerf to a weak hero or a buff to a strong one. But of course, there were the people who aren't satisfied with what's coming. There were the people who show up angry that Lawbringer didn't get changes despite UB letting us know that his changes are coming next season. There are the people that are angry that Ubisoft exists, and then there were the people that let me know that this patch would be awesome if they would have included just one or two more things. And I agree with those people. As I said, I think that this patch is great. Having a patch right in the middle of the season that actually does something that isn't just bug fixes is something that we need every season going forward, and I think it would have been great if they would have just done one more thing, and that's to address Vortiger. I know that I've defended Vortiger since his release because I still think that he's a good addition to the game for the most part, but we all know the problems that he has. One being the damage on his lights are a bit too high, and the second being how safe his shield bash is. UB's addressed Vortiger once, shortly after he released when he had that crazy out of stamina pressure, but they didn't work on his other issues yet. And honestly, I don't even think that they desperately need to work on both of them. I think people will be fine if his damage was tweaked sometime down the line, if his bash were just a bit more punishable. If UB announced that they were increasing the recovery on a whiff bash, I know people would be happy. Vortiger doesn't have the worst reputation. He's been received so much better than any of the other DLC heroes and even the Wu Lin, and I really don't believe anyone thinks that Vortiger is a completely flawless hero and that he doesn't deserve to be punished after whiffing 10 bashes in a row. I've been using Vortiger a bunch these past couple of weeks, and I 100% think that his bash needs to be punishable so that everyone can be happy. Players that fight against Vortiger wouldn't have to be frustrated with players who refuse to do anything but try and bash and zone, and Vortiger players won't have to try and figure out some way to play without using the bash so that they don't feel bad about spamming. I've all but stopped playing duels because of how toxic some people are when you even select Vortiger, and because there's not much to do in a duel. His moveset is small, and you hardly have a chance to use his gimmicky bulwark counter. I mean, eventually, if you're playing Black Prior, you have to bash. That's just how it is. Don't assault someone for using that hero. There are ways to play Vortiger without bashing, but against someone who can play defense, you're just handicapping yourself. Another reason I sort of wished his recovery would be increased is because with the removal of revenge gain in 1v1 on the way, heroes who do bash a lot like Conqueror and Vortiger will be able to use their bashes more often without having to worry about their opponent popping revenge. I do love the revenge change, but this is something I've thought about since I heard it, and you know, it really wouldn't be such a big deal against heroes who have easy to dodge unblockables like Centurion, who you can punish for whiffing, but for BP, I feel it will get a bit annoying, as if you're alone on a point and one of them comes strolling along, that fight is either going to last a really long time as you dodge all his bashes and get counter guard broken, or you'll get whittled down over time as they don't have to really worry about feeding revenge. Currently, I have to be pretty aware of how many bashes I've thrown out in a fight or how defensive my opponent is, because I know that if I keep doing it, they'll just pop revenge. But after this change, what's really going to stop me from throwing out as many bashes as I can? Of course, while ganking, heroes who bash a lot will feed more revenge than they ever have, but again, I'm not too sure what the revenge game will look like next week, so I'm not too sure how much revenge they'll feed to an opponent. I think this is really only an issue for Vortiger, since his bash is really tough to punish. Heroes like Valkyrie will benefit from this as they just fed revenge in a 1v1. I just feel that once this change goes live, there will be more people becoming upset with how Vortiger is played. There's also the issue of switching your guard and getting hit by his light attack, which leaves you open to get smacked by his follow-up bash that I hope get addressed soon, but I don't really think we're going to see any more changes until late April, early May, when the next season starts and the new hero is released. Overall, it's a great patch. I just really wish that they had addressed Vortiger in one way or another. If I could choose only one thing though, it would be the recovery change over the damage. I like the hero. My stance hasn't changed as much as I thought it would through the season. I really think that's the only thing UB missed out on while putting this patch together, or the big thing they missed out on. Maybe they want to wait until they collect more data, or maybe this is the way they want Vortiger to be, since we're moving away from reactable offense and moving more towards having to make reads and predicting what our opponents will do. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. It's just been on my mind for a while, and I decided to make a video on it after reading you guys' comments and whatnot. I do want to hear from you guys though, so talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as usual, if you agree with me or just like the video, feel free to like something, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.